Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. You join me here at the Electrify America charging station closest to where I live. It's at Meyer in Oswego, and I'm just DC fast charging my car. It's a 2022 Q4 E-tron. I've owned it for just over a year now. I love it very much. Yeah, it's had its quirks, and one time this wheel locked up in the winter because there was moisture in the drum brake, and when the parking brake was on, it got seized. So one side was able to unjam, but this side did not until halfway down my driveway, and there was a tire skid mark and everything. I took it to the dealership and they said they could not find a problem, but I think the problem is all in the brakes. I don't know why Audi chose to use drums on the Q4, but then again, the ID4, which this is based on, has drums as well. Thankfully, the new Q6 E-tron does not have drums in the back. But yeah, these brake drums, if you get any amount of moisture in them and then you set that parking brake, it will seize on, as in it'll be a little iffy to release when you next drive the car. Doesn't matter if it's freezing or not. Like if it's raining, water is inevitably going to get in those drums, and then you go and park the car for the night and drive it the next morning, might have a little bit of difficulty releasing those rear brakes. And I did experience that recently, but thankfully it was nowhere near as bad as what I encountered that one time in the winter. But I really do think that they either should have engineered those drums better or just not even bothered with the drums at all and used regular discs like every other Audi has. Because I think this is the first Audi in years, maybe decades, that has incorporated drum brakes. But aside from that, it's a very nice car. It is fast, so if you have a lead foot, you want to be careful driving this thing, because trust me, when you're on the highway, you have gobs of power at the right state of charge. And this does have the boost, so depending on the state of charge, that's how much boost you'll have. And it looks like there is a fire truck responding as I'm making this video. These machines were just installed this year, and they can support up to 350 kilowatts as far as charging speed goes. The previous machines only did 150. Now, this car, I think it's rated for a maximum of 150, so this really doesn't matter. But I know newer EVs are supporting faster charging speeds. The e-tron GT might be one of those cars. And going back to the parking brake, this car does not have a parking pawl in the transmission, just like the ID4. So anytime the parking brake's on, it's in park. And the new Q6 E-tron does have a park pawl. Same deal with the e-tron GT. It's always had a park pawl. And there was a menu that said parking brake. So that way, if you're in park and you wish to disengage the parking brake, you can do so in that menu. However, in the Q4 E-tron, that menu is gone and replaced with a menu called neutral, meaning that, like I was saying before, since there's no parking pawl, anytime you have the parking brake on, the car is in park. So it's a pretty interesting approach, but yep, there is no way to park this car without the parking brake on, unless you want it to roll away in neutral. And I'm not suggesting that you park without it on, because it is meant to be on when you park. And at least for Audi plug-in hybrids and EVs, it won't even charge unless that parking brake's on. Doesn't matter if it has park in the transmission or not. If you don't have that brake set, it's not going to charge. I've heard some people say they had their parking brake come on automatically when they plugged it in, because obviously that is a prerequisite for charging, and then it won't let you take it off while it's charging. Looks like we have a bit of a storm rolling in, so hopefully I get to 80% in the next 15 minutes or so, which I'm sure it will. But yeah, I'm surprised I'm the only one here. This charging station is usually very busy. But yeah, I know I haven't made too many videos with this car. I do plan to change that, especially since I am currently out of a job and looking for a new one. I need content to make, and so I figured, why not make it with my beloved Q4 E-tron? That reminds me, next week this car is going into the dealer because I noticed an issue with my charging door, and that issue is pertaining to the lock. See, this charging door used to lock, and then it malfunctioned one day, and then one day it would no longer lock. So even if the car was locked, you could still push on the door and it would open, and I don't need people opening stuff up like they own it. So yep, reported that. Car is out of its factory warranty, but since I purchased this certified pre-owned, I have a CPO warranty that's good for 2 years or 70,000 miles, whichever comes first. We're currently at 53,066 miles. So yeah, I've put roughly 18,000 miles on this car in a year, and that was mostly from driving to and from work. And I worked in Chicago Ridge at my most recent bus company before I ended up quitting there due to various red flags, which I've talked about on stream. I believe this is the power bank, and obviously there is a lockbox on here for the technicians to get in. So you have a code you put in here and then another one there. How about that? So no physical keys, which is interesting, because I figured, you know, a lockbox would have a key in it as opposed to a code. And then here is power meter. Must be for AC to DC power conversion. You can get a sneak peek in there. Look at that. Overall, it's a pretty cool setup, and I know a lot of people are saying like the US doesn't have the power infrastructure. Well, that's dependent on the state. Illinois, I'd say, is fine for electric vehicles, but somewhere like Nebraska, I would say hold off on getting an EV unless you have a home charger, and don't go on road trips with it. Because when I went to St. Paul, Nebraska last year, I rented a gas car simply because I didn't want to put too many miles on this, having just bought it at the time. And I didn't know if I was going to run out of battery, so figured better to not take the gamble and just get a gas car as a rental. And I did look up Electrify America in the whole state of Nebraska. I think there's only like 6 stations in the whole state, so it's not that many. Might even be fewer, I don't remember, but they didn't have many charging stations throughout the whole state, and certainly none near St. Paul. But yeah, Storm clouds are getting closer, but thankfully we're at 72%, so it's almost done charging. And I do like this green accent lighting on the charging machines. So I think, oh, okay, so this is interesting. One of the light strips is out on this one. I was gonna say, I think the sides light up when you have it plugged in, but nope, they're on all the time. I know some chargers will change colors when you have it plugged in versus not. Now, obviously, when you do have it DC fast charging, the fan turns on to keep everything cool, because when you do DC fast charge, that battery gets hot. I also want to mention something. In Illinois, you pay $100 extra every single year for vehicle registration, and that's because electric vehicles avoid road taxes for the most part if you charge at home. But I think here you do pay road taxes, because it says right here, pre-tax. I'm not sure if those are road taxes or some other form of taxes, but I do know that paying road taxes is important because it helps keep the roads safe and pothole free. But yeah, I think charging $100 for EV owners is a bit over the top, because if they DC fast charge most of the time, then they're paying those road taxes. But at the same time, if your car comes with free DC fast charging the first 2 or 3 years, then you're not paying those road taxes. So I guess I can kind of see the reasoning for that, but at the same time, it certainly will be interesting how they're going to factor in taxes for EV users in the future. So I think I'm gonna end this video, but let me know what you guys think. And do you guys think EVs are the future, or should we stick to our gas and diesel powered cars? Personally, I think EVs could be a little better. I know the newer Q4s have a better range than mine. Q6 E-tron, I want to test drive it. I think that's miles better than the Q4. And in 4 or 5 years, when I sell this car, I'll probably get a used Q6. And that brings me to my next point. Right now, EVs are just plummeting in value with the first 3 years. Like Mercedes EQS goes from being a $125,000 car to a $45,000 car in 3 years. That's $80,000 of depreciation. So basically, unless you're a millionaire, you should never buy one new. Always buy them used or lease them. That way you're not out almost $100,000 just in depreciation when you try to sell the car. So yeah, we're almost done charging, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Peace out.